Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I'm Catherine, and I am here for the September 2024 Creative Memories Worldwide Virtual Crop. I have the first 4 sketches designed and ready to share with all of you tonight. You have voted on my community tab, and I'm going to mix it up a little bit, but I appreciate all of you that voted. You're going to see a lot tonight, and I will continue working through the voting options over the next couple of days. I should be live streaming again tomorrow, but let's get to tonight and the first 4 sketches. All right, I'm going to start things off here with Denim Revival. Oops, hitting my trash can. You can tell it's been a little bit since I've live streamed, but I'm ready to go. Here is sketch number 1. I am trying to put what I'm featuring in each sketch, and this isn't one that was voted on. I'm doing a little bit of welding just because the sketch kind of led me to it, and I thought, sometimes it's nice to have these little refreshers on different techniques. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the first sketch, and then I will look up and see if there's any questions in between, any comments, and then I will continue on to the second one. I am going to be working with our Denim Revival collection first here. And the sheets I picked are the lighter tan tone paper that has the lighter denim wash on the back, and the rust colored paper that has the darker denim on the back. I guess they both kind of have the patchwork, if you will. I think this was the one collection that I had the hardest time even just on the original intro. But you can also see I've pulled out my 13 by 13 custom cutting system mat or cutting mat, because when you're welding, it's really nice to have this extra guide to help you line up your sheet. So I'm lining this up between the 6 and the 0 here. And this other one is going to go right next to it, because we are going to bring these 2 sheets together to make one 12 by 12 sheet. Let's see if I can get this down just a hair. All right. And then the other thing I've done is, it doesn't matter what color cardstock you use. You can use one of your index sheets. In fact, I've got one here. So this is what an index sheet is. It's essentially the sheet that comes with every designer paper pack. You can cut a 2-inch strip off of one of these, no problem, and use that as well. In fact, that's what I usually use. But it just so happened I had a little bit of extra cardstock, and so I thought, well, let's go ahead and use that for our welding tonight. You kind of want to make sure it's a little bit more across the center here, because your seam is going to be in the center. So I'm using a little bit more tape maybe than what I typically would on a page or a card, but we want to make sure that this sticks together and stays together in our albums, that it'll go in easily once we have our page protector over it. It'll be good. All right, here we go. We are set to put this first one on. And there we go. Boom. Sheet 1 is put together and ready to go. And of course, I'm working on the back side here, so we flip it over and you can see it has essentially become a single sheet of 12 by 12 paper, but we are essentially fusing together 2 different sheets, or the technical term, I guess, is welding. So we are welding it together. I guess it's a scrapbooking term. Like I said, one of these days I will be a scrapbooker. I'm still learning. I feel like I'm still learning. I haven't really been scrapbooking all that long. It was my pandemic project, and I feel like I'm doing pretty well with it. I really enjoy it. It's a really nice stress relief. I enjoy sharing ideas with all of you as well. So thank you so much for coming back and joining me time and again for the virtual crops and with my videos. as well. Okay, number 2. Let's get this lined up down here first. Because, uh-oh, I felt it slip. Okay, hang on. Let's get that shifted back in. And you just have to make sure it stays together before you stick it down. There we go. Whew. The first one went together so nicely. It was a little bit scary to have that one flip out on me a little bit. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and work on our mat here because it's out and we might as well. I'm pulling in my little embellishment tray because we have a lot of things we're going to add. If you remember the sketch, it does kind of show a little something going down here. You have an option for 3 photos here. However, you can easily put, a couple of larger photos. You can put a couple of vertical photos as well. And so I'm essentially leaving the right side of like kind of this whole middle section a little bit of a blank canvas, if you will, this time. I just really wanted to give myself some extra flexibility for my photos that are going to go on to these pages. So you can obviously do whatever interpretation you would like, but that's what I'm doing. This is one of our Denim Revival border stickers. I'm putting that down. I also have a few stickers and a mat. Let me make sure I pulled the stickers I needed for this side. I'm missing one of my red. I don't know if these were buttons or dot. I don't know. They're the little tiny round circular stickers. I'm using quite a few of them on this layout because I like that it brings the red back through the design. So here's one of our 6x4 mats. It's a Simply the Best. That's going to go up here on this left side. The opposite side of it says Simply the Best as well. And I kind of want to show you just real quick. You can easily fit, a couple photos with an extra one trimmed down. That's a full 4x6 on this side. If you want to make it so you can still see some of that, you can put one photo vertically and another one horizontally across the bottom. But you have options, definitely. You do with this layout. I mean, far be it for me to tell you not to follow a sketch, but they're open to interpretation. You can, do what you feel leads you creatively to work best with your photos. And for me, since I usually add my photos later, I sometimes like to have a little extra flexibility. One of the things in our embellishment pack, there's a larger embellishment pack that has these denim pockets. Well, for this one, we're actually not going to use it as a pocket. I am going to tape it down. I know. I mean, it would be a great little gift card holder for a gift you're going to give somebody. Or you can use it almost like a on top of your page protector. If you wanted to, instead of putting it on the page like I am, you could put it on top of the page protector and use it kind of like you would a peekaboo pocket, and then actually have, if you went to like a rodeo or a movie. I don't know, if you went to a national park and got one of the coins or the stamps from there, you could easily put that on top of your page protector and then have maybe one of our little tabs or get something so that way people would know to look inside. You just write Open Me or something like that on it. Okay, let's see what else needs to go on this side of the page. Not much. We're just going to add our stickers. This page is already just about done. Pretty quick. Not bad. I'm going to go ahead and run this way. And I love how both the border sticker and the star sticker have like stitching on them, basically. And I somehow wound up going live without my foam square sheet being close by. How in the world is that possible? I have a couple here. I just don't know where my main. I've been, ever since we moved, I've been all over the place and in and out, moving, scrapbooking things here and there. And so, well, it's okay. At least I found a couple to save the day here. We are going to put this kind of as a mini cluster. We're still going to be able to tell it's a star, but with our heart on top there. And then we have the two little red buttons we're going to add as well. Here we go with one. We're just going to place it right onto our border sticker because they're just little buttons. And I think they're supposed to be like the, you know how sometimes on jeans you have those metal buttons? Like if you have a button fly jean, go figure, then you would have buttons, but these are just red colored ones. So our left side of the page is done, and not to worry, I'm going to show you both pages together once I get them done, but I'm going to bring in the right side of the page. I'm going to work on my mat again, and in between I'll get everything cleaned up, but I have another border sticker to place down on this side. And I'm still adjusting to having an actual little trash can on my table. Okay. I thought I lost that one. Sometimes when stickers stick, they are done. And that one kind of fell out of my hand a little bit there. All right. I have some stars for this side. Again, I'm going to leave this tan side just empty, ready for my photos to go on. I probably won't mat them. I'll just place them on. But another thing we have in the embellishment pack for this collection are these frames, which are really fun. And so I know sometimes I've talked about this before where I'll struggle with finding a page to use these on. And this one, it just really spoke to me. So I want to show you what inspired this sketch again. So on this side of the sketch, we do have a single photo, which is what I'm going to have put in the frame. I'm just going to put probably a little bit of tape runner or repositionable tape up here so that way it doesn't come off of my paper. So when I go to add my photo, I can easily adjust it. And then I'll just finish it off with some more repositionable tape, or I'll use the regular tape runner later with it. With this piece here, because our lines were running horizontally, and I found one of our mats, and so I cut this one down to 3 1/4 by 4 inches. So on the left hand side, we have the 4x6 mat. On this side, it's 3 1/4 by 4 because I took one of our 4x6 mats and I cut the top and bottom off of this one, essentially so I could, hang on, let me get this down with the repositionable tape real quick. So I could go ahead and frame our journal mat essentially, but I didn't want the silver, not silver, I don't know what color it is. I don't know. It's been kind of a long day. It's been kind of a long week. Kind of stressful. Here we go. So this is a close-up of the mat that I cut. And of course, there is another half that has the open journal box on it. I took about 1/4 inch off the top and the bottom. So that way it made it a little bit tighter for when I place this over it. And I just want to get the positioning again here. So you can see, you're not going to see the buttons on the journal mat. You're just going to see the buttons on the frame, which is what I wanted. Of course, I need to make sure this is straight. Get this other part straight. And here we go. Okay, so that's down. And then I actually can stick this one down because, of course, this is going to be our journal mat and it's going to stay down. So I will use my regular tape runner to go ahead and stick this one on. How's about that? And I went just over a little bit. So our regular tape runner comes out in little rectangles, I guess, if you will. So I'm just going to fold that down, that little part that came over, and then this is going to cover that. Get that centered as well as I can. Okay, pretty good. I just thought it looked really kind of cool with it almost has like a little bit of a barbed wire effect. So it kind of almost becomes like it's almost triple framed because you have an extra little side of the mat that's a slightly different color showing as well. And then also in our embellishment pack, we had, this little Days like these. If the camera will actually focus on it, I promise it says days like these. There you go. Sometimes I just have to hold still. My brain starts going too fast and I'm explaining everything, and it's just so much fun. Okay, so days like these are going down, is going right under our journal box because, of course, we're going to be writing in our journal box and telling about what our photos are about and what maybe our day was about. And on this side, we have the stars that have the stitching around them again. And these are just going to play nicely on our border sticker here. Okay, I probably need to pop this heart up as well since we did the one on the other side. There we go. And this one's going to go right around up here. Okay, close to the bottom. This thing, because once you stick it with the foam squares, it's stuck as well. And then we're going to add our couple of red buttons, just like we did on the other side, because that's also going to help bring our design together through both of our pages. Sometimes it's all in those little details. All right, let me move my embellishment tray out of the way. I will move my tape runners out of the way, get my border mat out of the way, and my 13 by 13 mat. So here is the right side of our page, which I forgot to hold up for you. Here we go. That way you can see it a little bit closer here. All right, now you all can chat and let me know what you think about this 2-page layout using the Denim Revival collection, and I did some welding. And of course, in your album, we're going to have that, just that little bit of separation, which is fine too. But again, like I said, your photos are going to go, in this section here, whether you add 2 or 3 to each side is up to you. You're going to have a photo up here. And I thought, you can almost add a little photo down here as well. I really just liked the look of the little denim pocket. Usually I don't take away space for photos. You don't have to. You could easily put a photo here if you don't want to use a pocket or if you just don't have those. So you could easily definitely work another one in here. And then I just thought this was Simply the Best was a nice title. It winds up, like I said, your colors are flowing nicely through both pages. And here we go. All right, what do y'all think? I kind of did reverse where the title is, but that's okay. You can see they did have 2 photos here and 1 here, and so that's exactly what I'm saying. I do still have the one here in the journal box, but I liked having the bigger title over here. You could easily put a photo if you want. All right, sketch number 1 is done. How's about that? That felt pretty quick. But welcome. Thank you for staying with me and watching with me while I get things switched over here to sketch number 2. Give me just a moment. Here we go. Sketch number 2 is going to be with our highest voted collection. Can you guess what it was? Maybe you can see it. It's kind of already telling you. Let me switch this out here. And I have to have my notes so I know how to put these back together. So sketch number 2, we are using, Passport to Adventure, which I think we'll see again later. I haven't finished designing day 2 yet, which is sketches 5 through 8, but I'm getting there. At least I got 1 through 4 done on time. And so we're going to be looking at our geometric frame punch, and I'm going to be doing an embellishment cluster for you all because those were things you voted on, was to see a frame punch and an embellishment cluster. But of course, we're using them both in the same layout. And then of course I always have our mats and our other at the bottom. This is just, it's a little more of an intricate layout. So here's kind of a peek at where we're going on the left side, except for, where did I put my paper? I'm going to be punching over here. Okay. So I have to make sure I remember how I designed some of these. Okay. This is coming in over here. This is on this other side. Okay, like I said, remember, it's a little bit of a puzzle for me. It's okay. I'm going to take these off. Let me grab my tray again. As I'm undoing it, we're going to see the clusters a little bit, but it's okay too. So when I'm going to get my punch out, something to punch on so I don't get confetti all over my entire desk here, and then y'all are waiting for me to clean it up. So we're going to punch this. So I'll talk you through the pages in just a moment, but first things first, our geometric frame punch is one of our frame punches. I'm going to be doing a few demos. This virtual crop, because since we have so many sketches, it's kind of fun. Y'all can let me know if you want me to continue this featuring of demos for the next virtual crop, or just kind of continue how I was doing before, where I'm essentially putting the layouts together. But it's kind of nice to share some of our tools and different techniques with you all while doing the virtual sketches. Okay, so we have this kind of geometric paper in our Passport to Adventure collection, and I just thought it would lend itself well with our geometric frame punch. It's the one that has the tiled travel notices on it. In order to, to have our frame punch, one thing that makes it unique is that you can use it to create a frame around a even numbered, essentially multiple of 2-inch square. So our frame box essentially is based on a 2-inch square. So if you have a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12-inch piece of paper, it just so happens I have a 4-inch piece of paper here from our tags that we're going to be doing our frame on. But you can also use it as a border punch as well. So we're going to do a border first, and I'm going to show you, we have these black lines on either side of our Creative Memories on what we call the punch box. And then we have these silver lines that I'll be showing you in just a little bit. This is for our frame. Now, when you turn this over, you will see that we have some metal along the bottom here. That means that when I punch my border, it is going to stay with the paper. We have some of our punches are chain punches. Some of our punches are, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word, but it stays with the paper. And then we have the third one, let's punch out edge. This is an edge punch. I told you, I'm getting it every time. It's just a little slow tonight somehow. So I'm going to take my paper, I'm going to line it up with, it doesn't matter if you use the right or the left line. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in. This is a, how big is this piece of paper? Did I actually write it down? I probably did, but I probably didn't put it on my thing. This is 4 3/4 by 12 inches. So it is a full 12-inch. And in fact, I believe it was a scrap I had from either one of the virtual crops or my sketch with me. So I'm going to be quiet here. It's going to be a little bit noisy while I punch, but part of doing the demo. When you punch, you are going to slide your paper, and then you are going to line it up with the picture that is on the edge of the punch. So that way you know you have your paper in the correct spot. And I also am going to show you, we have a little ledge on the back edge of our punch as well. And that's what keeps the paper seated properly in the punch. And I don't know if I can actually hold it up and show you all or not. I will try. Oops, my hand's in the way, but you can see there's this little kind of, this little white ledge that's basically up just about an 1/8, 16th of an inch. That's holding my paper to keeping it from sliding back too far into the punch. And so that's how I'm lining things up with the photo and with this little tray, if you will. And there we go. Making sure it stays back, making sure I'm lined up. That is it. I want it with a little bit of extra. And you know, the other thing I always say is paper can always be fixed if you don't line something up exactly right. Take your scissors and boom. You can't even tell, right? It looks just like a really nice border going across the top of our paper here. So that's how you use the border part feature. And I will be talking about this again on another border punch because I have one to demo as well. Now I'm going to show you our frame portion. And I said I was going to pick that up, didn't I? So I wouldn't mess up my desk too much, but that's okay. That's what I get for trying to clean up in between. So now we are going to line up my 4-inch square piece of paper that I have here. And we're going to make our frame for our kind of a decorative piece for the corner of one of our layouts. So I'm going to line this up with my punch box here with the silver line. So I'll try to bring this up again if I can here. How's about, am I angled pretty well? You can see that silver line. I'm trying to get my paper lined up. And then I've got to bring it down in order to punch though. All right, making sure I'm all the way back. I'm catching my paper on the little placement for our paper. Okay, that looks lined up really well. And you're going to pull it out completely. You're going to put your paper back in, line it up again, and you will do this with each one of your sizes, no matter what size you have. It just so happens that with the 4-inch size, it's basically going to be pretty much exact for the punch box. And then you'll see I'm getting these little squares off of each end because that is also what's going to come off of each corner. If you're doing your frame correctly and you're lining up with these silver lines, there you go. We have a really interesting geometric decorative piece for our layout here that I cut with our frame punch. So I hope that helps to explain that a little bit for all of you. I'll put this behind with the blue behind it so you can see it a little bit closer as well. And it just kind of makes for an interesting, you can flip it, you can do whatever you want. But when you have your larger piece of paper, of course, you'll have more of a square in the center and you'll have larger squares that'll come off of each edge. Okay, that's the frame punch. That's the geometric frame punch. And, oh, our punches all lock as well. So you do need to unlock to use your punch and lock it back to secure it for your shelf. It just makes it for easier storage. There we go. Goodness. Okay, let's get this out of the way now. Go ahead and dump that because we're going to have more punching in just a little bit. And let's see here. This is over this. These can go in there. All right. I think I need to cut this, but I don't know at where I decided to cut it because I wanted to see what it was going to look like once I got my geometric frame punched on here. So I think I'm going to go with I'm going to cut wherever two of my decorative pieces are here. And let's measure that really quick on my trimmer here. We will see if I can get this centered. It looks like it's going to be 4 inches exactly. Look at that. And whoops, I'm going to make sure I'm going to use my cut guides on my trimmer here just to make sure that I am right in between. So on our 12-inch trimmer, if you have one of our trimmers, these are awesome. We have these cut guides that you can bring down from the top and also from the bottom. So they say stored in the housing for our the holder. So here there's one in the bottom as well, and it has a little black line that runs through it that will show you exactly where your blade is going to hit your paper. So when I just checked mine, it looks like it's going to go right in between the two, I don't know, geometric designed pieces. We'll call it that because it is. It's the geometric frame punch, right? Here we go. All right. So this is under, this is over. There we go. All right, I'm starting to feel good about this whole thing. It's like I said, it's always a little bit of a puzzle sometimes doing these early, and then I think I did a couple of these yesterday, and I'm putting it back together. But you can see where this one kind of has like what shows like a piece going behind and a different piece underneath. Like there's several kind of layers of paper, and it just so happened that I had several scraps that I wanted to use up. And so it worked out where I had the tag pieces. This piece is 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches. And this piece is, oh my goodness, 10 by 4.25. Yep, 10 by 4.25. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get this first one on this 4-inch piece. Where did my tape runners go? Let's go ahead and get this taken care of. So I'm using my repositionable tape on my part that I punched, and then I'm going to use my regular tape runner on the other part just to keep it a little bit more secure. Not that the repositionable tape won't keep it secure in our album, it will, but it just adds a little bit of extra to do it this way. So I'm going to run these at the top of my page and all the way to the right edge of the page here. There we go. And then we have our 7.5-inch square that's going to go on next. Yep. Double checking my instructions to myself here. And this one, I'm going to just lightly put so it overlaps. I don't exactly want it. It doesn't have to be centered, I guess, is because in the sketch, it almost shows it a little bit more off center. And then let's get this last piece going on. Okay, here we go. Here and here and here with the tape runner. It's a good thing I have refills, right? So this one is going to be about 1/2 inch from the bottom of the page all the way to the right side, and it is going to overlap our other one. Like I said, it's you know, I wanted to kind of have that little bit of cohesion again through the pages, and since I had these extra pieces of the tag paper, it just worked. Now, one of the other things I did was I took a sheet of our blue cardstock, and I'm trying to remember, I'm not sure if blue is on our recommended cardstock colors, but I'm using navy for the base, and then we're using the blue for our photo mats. So I have 4.25 by 6.25 that I cut from one sheet of the blue cardstock. This one has a lot going on. Okay, this one's going here, like so. So it's kind of going to cover a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And this one is going to go over here, which, because I have a little bit of an extra seam down here, I'm actually happy about because it's going to cover my little bit of extra overlap that I had between my two papers. And so it almost looks like I kind of cut this from the same sheet now, basically, which is kind of nice. And then we have our cluster up here in this corner. So it kind of all started for me with this passport embellishment from our embellishment pack. And I'm going to go ahead and add tape runner to this one and get this in the corner here. Up against the edge is fine, and up towards the top. And then our next stop is going to hang kind of from it. I almost want it underneath a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and put tape runner on that as well. That is going to go underneath for our cluster here. Oops. So that way, even though it shows a little bit of the white, it's okay. But I kind of wanted it. There we go. And I'll show you that up close real quick. So you can see the very top of that piece that was like this, that had the little white circle through it, so it looked like it was a little tag. But my passport part's covering that up. So we have these two. And I know a lot of times when people do clusters, they do them really tight, but this one is kind of going to be a little different here. So we have our world stamp that I think I just put upside down. Yes, I did. That's a good thing I checked that. And then we have our other airplane with our on time that we're going to just angle out. So let's go ahead, and these are all just going straight on the page, no foam squares. And this is going to go just ever so slightly towards the left, lower end of where our navy cardstock is showing through. And then we're going to use repositionable tape for this one because I am trying to go kind of quickly along here just so we can get these done for you all. And this is just going to come out from the corner of our stamp. So what do y'all think of my little cluster there? Left side of our page is done. There we go. Yep. Okay, I had to double check my notes and make sure. Now we're going to bring in the right side. Oops, almost grabbing the next layout a little bit here. Okay. So we have the rest of our piece that we cut with our geometric frame punch. That's going to go across the top. And my last mat in this collection, I had to put a little post-it note because if you've been following along with everything I've done with this collection, if you're doing similar layouts, you're going to be on your last mat as well. Then it's kind of exciting. We've used the entire mat pack for this collection. All right, so that one's going to be at the top. This is going to be a 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Let me go ahead and move our stickers over. So we do have a few stickers. We used embellishments on the other side. I have one more embellishment here. And then we're going to use some stickers as well. Actually, let me pull in this page just to make sure I get things lined up because, that's always the one thing, isn't it, where you go to put these on and then later you notice that, oops, I was off. And that's no fun. You want to make sure you get it lined up nicely. Okay, I feel like I have a lot on my desk all of a sudden again, which kind of is. This layout did have a lot. The sketch had a lot going on. So I guess it's only natural that the layout itself will have a bit more going on too. And a lot of times I don't layer as much paper, but I had a lot of scraps from this collection just from using it quite a bit. So it actually is really nice to be able to use up so many of my scraps and find a really nice functional layout to use it on. And I thought that the frame punch was kind of fun to bring in too. It's been a while since I've used this one. I've seen, people do different Star Wars things and what have you with that one, but I don't know if I've seen them use it with Passport to Adventure. So I hope you all appreciate my extra little creative license with that one. It just seemed to work with all of these tags and things that are on the pages and the stamps. I just thought oh no, I just put my tape runner on the wrong side. Okay, we'll fix it. It's okay. We have stuff that's going to go on top of it, and then I can work on it later if I need to, but we're just going to do this real quick, and it's going to be all right. Like I said, that's the best part about paper crafting is you can always fix it, right? So here we go. Let's put this back up here. You would think that's the scene sometimes. Told y'all it's been a week for sure. And here we go. That's going across my page here. It's a good thing I have a mat that's going to go on here. And then we also have this I've already turned over. Move this out of the way. Get the tape runner on the side it needs to be going on. And my tape runner just ran out. So let's get that changed out real quick here. Okay. That's another nice thing is our tape runners are so quick. You just pop it back in and I'm back to the live streaming again here. Not that I stopped, but you know. Okay. There we go. All right. So this is going to go up here. And now comes the question. I think I'm going to do it this direction on here. And I'm going to go ahead and touch the edges on both sides. So it's going to kind of seat towards the corner a bit. And there's that. This one is my Enjoy the Journeys going in here. So that's going to help me with my mat placement. That is going to be up here. So Enjoy the Journey is under my mat. So let's get that down next. And that's coming in from here. Oops, nope, hang on. I've got one more embellishment that has to go down too. That's one of those things sometimes I know the placement of where I want these things to go. And so just putting them down on the page in the order, because this is going to go ever so slightly under here, but it also is going to be against the edge. And oh, good. Okay. I actually had something else planned for another layout, but I was making sure it wasn't on this one. So we're not going to cover up our little design here. We're going to go right here with our title for our page, the Enjoy the Journey. So that's our page title, or if you want to use it as a photo mat, you can. I'm not putting any tape down because I have the tape runner that was already on here. And this we're going to go so you can see some of it, but maybe not quite everything. There we go. So that's not bad. I have a little bit over here, but I'll fix that later. And then we have a What of You sticker that has that yellowy mustard color that we've seen throughout. Oops, I forgot my other mat. How can that be? Okay, let me get that one down too. There we go. Glad I noticed that. That's going down here. And we're actually going to go up this way just a little. I don't know if I should line that up with that other one. Let's do that. Symmetry is good, right? So I have about 1/4 of an inch here. Let's do about 1/4 of an inch here. Here we go. Okay, that looks decent. All right. So our What of You, I'm going to pop up on a foam square so I can figure out where the rest of those went. I will have my other foam squares tomorrow. I have my foam tape. I just don't want to use a ton of it. Here we go. Just one of the larger ones is fine. My What of You is going to be centered here. And here come our little arrows from our embellishment pack. So these are the enameled pieces and they are self-sticking, which is really nice. And I think I was going to put the darker points in. Yes. And the lighter points out. So we have these going this way. Kind of like how they were on their plastic. It's on they're on clear plastic, and I just cut them out so I can kind of get a feel for putting these sketches together and knowing that they're actually going to turn out with some sort of rhyme or reason to them. Whew. All right. right side is done. What do y'all think of that one? I will bring back in both pages and our sketch as well. And move these other things out of the way. Here's that. Here is this. And so I'll put the two pages together and then I will, how's about that? So it looks a little bit busy now, but so taken apart for an album would look more like that. But together, here we go. Here is the sketch. So I added, since, you know, it had this a little bit up here, I was like, border sticker or punch. And so I went with the punch because I knew I could do the frame punch. And then I also wanted to show you all the frame. So I added that little bit extra up there. Instead of doing the vertical photo here, I mean, like I said, you can keep this as your page title, or you can add another photo. We do have the two 4x6 photos that'll fit easily here, or of course you can do smaller photos. And so this up here, they don't really have any, they just have where the mats are, but you easily could add a photo here and a photo here as well if you have other photos that you want to fit onto a layout. And then you can journal here. And if you decide not to add another photo over here, you could easily journal on your tag parts here and write down in this little next stop where your photos took place. So you have extra journaling space there. And then I added my embellishment cluster up here and down here because the way I did my page, it just helped with keeping your eyes flowing through the page and through the photos. So let me know if you all have any questions or comments. Otherwise, I will go ahead and get things changed out for layout number 3 here. And okay, so for this one, we are going to use Coastal Shore. I did pre-punch a little bit because I needed several of our fishnet. Oof. Okay, I need to get myself a extra rolling cart. Goodness. So our fishnet decorated border punch is the one that we're going to be using with this layout. And here we go. Okay, what do I have? I have some of our fishnets I punched from our brown shimmer already. On my short, I used the platinum shimmer, so you can see it in a different color if you want. I actually apologize. I hadn't realized I hadn't released the short for the fishnet border punch somehow. I had it filmed. It was uploaded, ready to go. And I looked today and I was like, I'm using that punch and I'm going to talk about the silver one on the short. And I didn't realize I hadn't released it. So I apologize for that a little bit, but you know, it's out there now if you want to know the dimensions and everything for this punch. I do try to do a short for every punch and I'm hoping to continue that, but I'm not sure. This year is going to be a little bit more taxing for me. I think we have some extra commitments with this new assignment that we're at, and I'm definitely going to continue live streaming for the virtual crops, and I definitely want to continue the sketch with me, but I need to dial back a little bit on some of the collaborations and things as well. So here we go. What am I featuring here? Our fishnet punch. I have 4 brown shimmer. We are going to punch 2 white shimmers, and we're going to use our corner rounder, which is something else I did not have on the poles, but it just made sense with this one. So our corner rounder is one of our very staple tools. You can round corners or you can actually do an inverted as well. It's an awesome little tool to have and not very expensive. Let me get my cheat sheet up here so I know what I'm doing. And all right, whole lot going on. Lots of leftover pieces and things going on to this layout. I actually might try to put well, I don't know. We'll see how I can do with the telling. You can see there's a lot going on this one. Okay. Again, I don't know. The sketches just really had a lot going on this time, I guess. So here's my piece of platinum shimmer. I am going to move off all of my mats because we need to put our fishnets down first. Now, I'm going to share with you all this Walk Along the Shore. This is one of our 4x6 mats. I've cut it down to 3.5 by 4. So I took an inch off of each side, and I have this upside down, so it is what it is. But I took an extra bit off of the seashells, and I took an extra bit off of the long ways. So a 1/4 inch off and an inch off of this one from the sides. And then also this one I had left over from our virtual crop. I don't remember which month it was, but I took some extra license with this one as well. I took off this other edge here, and then I took off an extra 1/4 inch from the top and bottom as well, just to fit it on my page a little bit better. So I don't typically cut up this many mats, but this is what fit. It seemed to really fit well on the pages. I also am using one of our border stickers, and oh yes. Okay, I did take some creative license, and I will talk about that in a minute. Dark sea green is going to be the base, but let's do our punch demo, and then we can get the whole page put together. So I have our white shimmer paper here. It's going to go really well with our brown shimmer. If you'll remember our geometric frame punch, how I talked about, oops, I got brown shimmer paper still on here. The black lines on either side of the creative memories, that's where we're going to line up our paper for this one. You'll notice there is no silver line. That's because this is not a frame punch. When you flip it over, you will see there is no metal at the top, no metal at the bottom. This is one of our chain type punches. So you can look at our punches and be able to tell what type of punch they are. It's just a matter of kind of getting used to what to look for. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool because I like knowing how things work a bit. So I'm unlocking my punch. I'm going to line up my paper on the black line, and then I will make sure it's seated in this little ledge. All of our punches, the border punches have this little ledge. And we're going to punch 2 more fishnet. So I'll do one from the right and one from the left. And it's going to be a little noisy again. Okay, am I lined up? There also is a black line in the housing. I'll hold it up again so you can see that in a minute. And this is one of our punches that also has a little triangle that punches along the bottom of the paper. So it helps you line it up better when you move it out, so you know where to line up your paper. Okay, so I'm working a little bit far away, so I'm on camera. Let's get this going. And sometimes it takes a minute. And honestly, I'll say this is one of our more forgiving punches because even if you're just slightly off, it's a net, and it's really okay. It really doesn't show it that much. So here's the triangle. And there we go. So here's our chain fishnet border punched out. Let's see. Do I have anything darker? Yes, I do have dark sea green right here. So I can show you all the little notches that I was talking about. That little piece there matches up with this little piece here on our punch, and there you go. Inside the punch, you can see on the blue part there's that black line as well, just as it is on the white part. So the designers really did think of everything. Our engineers maybe were the ones that did this. But anyways, whoever came up with it was smarter than I am, I guess, to be able to think to add all these extra details to help us be able to punch a piece of paper nicely and consistently every time. Do you all have a favorite punch? If you do, let me know. I'm curious. Maybe we'll see it later in the virtual crop. Oops, that one I got off a little bit. That's what I get for asking a question and I'm punching at the same time. Okay, and that is it for that one. Here is our other chain that we're going to use on our page. So part of the reason of why I use the white and the brown was I wanted to show you, you don't have to do this punch in a typical color. I mean, you can use whatever color your imagination leads you to. Okay, move this out of the way. Take care of the trash a moment here. And here we go. Done, done, and done. Left side of our page, dark sea green. Bring back in our tape runners. Bring in our... So for some reason, this sketch kind of reminded me a little bit of the other one. It's kind of, I don't know, like both of these kind of like, see, felt like they were, you know, you have the right side, and even with the one that we did with the Denim Revival, it felt like the page was kind of divided linearly for me. And so I decided to go ahead and just go with it. So we're gonna layer our 2 brown and 1 white fishnets here. And one nice thing about the fishnets is it's on cardstock, so I don't have to worry about if I put tape on the right side or the wrong side. Every side is the correct side for Catherine today. On this one anyways. Okay. And we'll use our repositionable tape again. Going down. And working on the silicone mat makes it so easy because the tape sticks to our paper and not to the silicone mat. I did use a parchment board as well for a long time, so if you don't have a silicone mat, you can use a sheet of parchment paper on a piece of cardboard, and make sure to use electrical tape when you adhere it, because electrical tape is one of the few things that will stick to parchment paper. Fun fact. Here we go. So we're going with brown and our brown. And I'll leave a little bit of space in between, about a 1/2 inch here, in between my 2 fishnets on the side here. And then we're going to layer our white in between. And this is one of those leap of faith things for me because I wasn't exactly sure how this was going to look, because obviously I hadn't actually punched it and I hadn't put it together because I wanted to do it while I was on camera for all of you. So I'm seeing it for the first time as well. It's kind of pretty. It looks nice layered. I'll show you closer. You can see I just went over that initial edge just a bit, and so you can see the brown coming through the white as well. We are going to cover up a little bit of it. Let's see. Okay. So now I have these buoy mats that are left from my sketch with me, because when I did that one, I had all of my buoys running horizontally, and so I had a bunch of vertical ones since I used both of my sheets. So it's really nice to be able to use up some of my leftovers I had from my other project there. And then I have one of our, I believe this was a 4.5. Let me, just because it's, you know, yes, 4.5 by 6.5 mat. And this one has our kind of like the driftwood look on it. And on the back are the blue, it almost looks stamped basically. So this one is going to go up here, and then I'm going to layer the other buoys under it. So when you cut your 4.25 by 6.25 mats, you have to cut 1.5 inches off of both sides of your 12-inch piece of paper to have things turn out, I won't say correctly, but to have it turn out the way it's supposed to, I guess. You get a little square that comes out from the middle of the format. And so when I did that, I had strips of buoys. Go figure. And so what I did was I took these strips and I cut them at 4 inches because it was a 1.5 inch by 12-inch strip. And so let's cut it at 4 inches and then we can, I don't want to say cheat, but it's, maybe the other YouTubers will call it a hack, but there's this bit here. So we've got this bit here that's over here right now, but I decided to go with a larger photo because, I'm Catherine and that's what I do. And then we've got, this is going to go down here so you can still see our layered nets, but maybe not as much as what I thought I would initially. But anyway, so this part is now over on this part. And then they had a 4-inch by 2.5 inch. And so mine's 4 by 1.5 because that's what I had. And I'm using a scrap, so why not? But then they also have this little, the rounded corner. And so we're going to corner around, but I'm probably going to cover up part of it, but I still want to make sure that I am rounded. So I'm rounding both corners just in case, was the expression about covering your bases. That's what I'm doing here. And just popping those in. The corner rounder has a little paper catcher here. Don't forget to empty it from time to time. Otherwise, you're going to have just a ton of here. I just emptied mine so that it wouldn't go all over my table. But you see it pops open and then it just tabs back in. So let me get some tape on these so we can get those to line our mat here. Oops, I guess I did get one on my, go figure. Okay. All right. So this is going to be right around here, and I'm just going to lightly put it up against our buoy because we need this one to come in from down here. So this needs to go up just a little bit. There we go. This is going to run at the bottom of the page. This actually is our journal needs to go. Yeah. Okay. This does need to scoot over a little bit more. This is fitting here. And oh, I forgot our border sticker. Okay. So hang on. It's a good thing I didn't have tape on that yet. So let's move this over. It's a good thing I didn't push that down. It's a good thing I actually read my sheet. Let me get my multi-purpose tool because that's what I'm going to need to lift up this one enough to put my border sticker that was sitting in my tray the whole time. Here we go. We have this really beautiful green that works with our colors on our page, works with our nets, and it's going to go next to our nets here. So it kind of fits with just kind of what I was going with here. Let's pop that down on here. Oops, my whole page is getting away from me here. Okay. All right. So there we go. Now we have everything on. Hopefully that's going to go on for now. So this is here. This is here. This is here. So we're going to give this maybe a 1/4 inch margin on the bottom corner here. Okay, that one's going to get stuck down. Make sure it's straight-ish. And there we go. One down. This one is coming in from up here. And we want to make sure not to stick it down because these are going to go over and under with our buoys. This needs to go under this one as well. So let me just roughly place this one here. Not roughly, but multi-purpose tool helps stick that under there. So see, like I said, I'm corner rounding, but I knew that one in particular was probably going to get covered. This is going over here next to here. And that's going to go here. Okay, that's in the bottom. This one's coming in from the top underneath as well. And so you don't see as many of the buoys on this one, unfortunately, but we know they're there, right? They're there in spirit maybe, or they're just there. It's okay. All right, so that's there. Yep, you can see that one at least. Okay. Let's get our two mats down. This one was our 3 by 3.5. This one is our 3.5 by 4. So much smaller than what I typically do. I typically do for mats, but following the sketch, following the just kind of where creatively it was taking me. That's kind of what I wanted to do. There's that. Here's walk along the seashore coming in here. I'm actually going to put this over to the all the way to the left. I kind of initially thought I would center that a little bit better, but now I'm going to do this. I think because we have this little line here of the light and the dark, and I think that's what's going to work there. Okay. Now I also have, that's for our right side of the page, I also have this lighthouse love, and I have a seashell. And that's supposed to fit in here, which I think it will. Yep, okay. I'm not sure, I almost feel like I'm losing my flow here a little bit, but we're going to cluster this behind here, just coming up. Nice thing about stickers is you can just stick them together rather than with the embellishments as we saw in the other one. You had to kind of stick them down individually, make sure you were getting them placed well. And you could foam square this one, but I'm not going to. So there we go. That is the right side of our page. Whoops. What do you all think? It's definitely buoy heavy again. Kind of like my sketch with me was a little bit buoy heavy, but it feels really good again to use up the scraps, to add in these mats that just really help things to flow nicely. This one is not stuck on well. I don't know if I just needed enough tape on it or if it's just because it's right on the edge there. So I'm just going to reinforce the corners a little bit, I think, because it's on the layer of all of these borders. You just needed a little bit of extra. There we go. Stick. What can I say? All right. That feels better. So there you go. There's your lighthouse. There's your shell and our buoys. So let's get the right hand side of the page done. This one's going to be, again, buoy intensive here. But we also have a couple of extra stickers again. And you can see we had another mat that had the driftwood. This was, again, a scrap from our sketch with me. A little bit of that seashell paper we used on our card, I believe, our shaker card. Let's see. 2 3/4 by 4. So, 2 3/4 wide, 4 inches long. I'm going to move these out. We're going to put this in. We've got our 3 nets again that we need to get stuck down. Put my multi-purpose tool back. We're probably going to need that again too. All right. So this one has 2 of our 4.5 by 6.5 mats, both with the driftwood on the front and stripes, and again the little kind of stamp look on the back of the other one. Set those aside. I have 2 more of our small cheater buoy pieces, the 1.5 by 4. I'm going to go ahead and corner around those real quick here. There's that one and this one. And then another one of our 4.25 by 6.25 mats from our sketch with me. Here we go with the repositionable tape again, going down our nets. Oops, caught the other one here. Okay, let's do you first then, if that's what you want. All right, the top part a little bit too. Get the bottom part of this one. And down onto the page here. Okay. I think maybe keeping the border sticker here is going to remind me to get it placed as soon as I get these nets on also. So again, I will leave about a 1/2 inch in between these 2 initial nets. And there we go. And now getting our third one here. Whoops, it looks like I missed a spot. There we go. And running this one in between our other two. There we go. And our border sticker is going to go on the edge again. And I just like that it does have that little bit of green that brings back in our kind of our green from our cardstock, our green from our buoys. It just, I don't know, even the shimmer brown and the white shimmer really flowed well with the wood and the buoys. Just all seemed to come together. Like I said, once I started putting it together. So this one is going up here, and this is in the bottom here. Okay. All right. Y'all are being awfully quiet tonight. That's okay. I'll check for questions again at the end of this one. All right, this one's going over here against the edge again, and I know we're covering up a little bit of what we're doing, but that's just how it flowed for me. And this is going about 1/4 of an inch from both edges is where I kind of am eyeballing it, because I wanted to give myself a little bit of leeway with my photo. When I go to put a photo on here, I wasn't sure if I was going to be horizontal or vertical, and I kind of, that way if I only want to use a portion of this little piece, then I can, but of course I can use the whole thing if I want as well. Now we have this one down here, this one up here, and I need to be able to put my lobster trap up here. Okay, so that's not bad. Okay, tape runner again. And bottom of page. Okay, top of page. Except for I need to get those two pieces that are going to come above and below again. So I'm just gently placing it. I might need the multi-purpose tool again. We'll find out in a moment. Oh, here we go. The other one ran out too. It's one of those things where it's always good to have refills around, especially when you're live streaming. Kind of figured with doing so many pages. Where was I? Here. There we go. All right. This is going to slide in under here. There we go. And this one is going up here. All right, and this one you can see a little bit more of the buoys. I'm going to get my stickers on. We have the lobster with the lobster trap here. This always reminds me of Maine. Let me see these. But it's going to kind of go over the corner of our mat just a little tiny bit. But our photos are usually 4x6, and this is a 4.5x6.5 mat, so it's okay that it's over the corner just a little bit. I also have our driftwood here, as well as a couple of seashells, and these are going to come together in a little cluster as well, which I was highlighting the corner rounder and the fishnet punch, but y'all are getting a bonus cluster out of this one too. This one needs to go this way. Kind of coming out from behind our driftwood, and this one I think is going to go on top. And then again, just ever so slightly over the mat. I don't even know if you can really tell. It's just ever so slightly. And that one as well. Here is the right side of our page. You can definitely see the rounding of the corners more on this side of the page than the other, but sometimes paying attention to those details doesn't hurt. Because when you go to play, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I go to place things, it's, I change my mind or what have you, and it's just nice to know you've done your due diligence, I guess. So here we go. Photos. Where are our photos going to go? What do you think? One here, but you know what? You can go horizontal, horizontal, vertical, or a smaller photo here, a larger photo here, or two smaller ones. And again, horizontal, or you can also go vertical on that one with a smaller photo as well. You'll want to go vertical on this one, horizontal here. Yep, vertical probably, but you can also do another one the same way, like because we have these little extra pieces of paper, I guess, that, we added because of the sketch. It's not, I don't think it's normally something that I would normally do, but it was, like I said, it was great to use up a scrap and, photo here. You can go another photo here. You can do a smaller photo coming off this way. Lots of options. Journaling here. You got your title here and you have a little bit of decoration. What do you think? Here is our sketch again. And any questions, any comments? I appreciate y'all sticking with me. We have finished up sketch number 3. There we go. Definitely using the larger photos, giving you options also. But, this one had 4. And, I showed you could fit 4 or more on these for sure. So turning the single page into a double on that one. And I think because Coastal Shore had a few more votes too. I think that's also, with the ones that didn't have as many votes, I think might keep a couple of those more single page layouts. Let me grab a quick drink of water before we get into our next layout number 4, which is going to be with our, oh my gosh, Full of Wonder. I blanked out on the collection name for a moment there. I don't know why, but I did. Okay, so this one is going to be featuring our 12-inch decorative trimmer. And we are going to finish up with a single page layout with this collection. So I am going to use our Wild Wisteria shimmer paper. Unfortunately, it's currently sold out. It will be back in December. So if you like how it looks on this layout, you can go to my website. You can click the box for a home office to let you know when it arrives, and they will send you an email, which is fantastic. We have our mats here. I'm put cutting directions. So if you do take the screenshot, you'll have the cutting directions, but I'm going to show y'all this one. I need to make sure I can see my cutting directions because it was a little, I think I have a good general idea, but okay, bring back in my little tray. I've got to get all my stickers back sorted out again. And oops, I cut some more mats. I don't know, like sometimes you go through these phases where you do similar things, and with this, I just so happened I cut some mats. So I used one of my index sheets when I was practicing because we all need a little practice, right? When you don't want to cut the shimmer paper first, and then you're like, oh, that didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to, which is pretty much what happened to me the first time. So, we don't use our decorative trimmers all the time. And so it was nice to be able to make sure what I was thinking was the way I needed to do it, and actually it was. So this is our 12-inch decorative trimmer. It has, a light waved side, and it has this more bumpy waved side, and we're going to be using this more bumpy waved side today. I don't know if you know, but it actually has a little pull-out for measuring. It's hard to see the measurements on it. I mean, you can read it, but it is white on white. And so a lot of times what I do is I take my pencils and I kind of have marked up my trimmer a little bit so I can see the lines a little bit better. It just, and eventually they fade a bit and then I mark it up a little bit more, but it's what helps me. I figure, it's my trimmer. I can mark it up if I want to, and you can too if that's what you want to do with yours. So try to get this on the screen here for y'all. We are using the alcohol ink paper that has this just really pretty purple, I don't know, artsy alcohol ink thing on it. I don't know how to describe it. It's the lilac light purple woven on the back. How's about that? Maybe that'll make it easier for you to find the sheet of paper. Anyways, okay. So I have my wild wisteria. We are going to load our paper from the right side of the trimmer. Okay. With this trimmer, it matters which way you load your paper from. It also matters if you line up your paper at the top or at the bottom, because you have these little grids and you have a 2 grid gap at either the top or bottom, and it'll affect how your waves work on your paper. So make sure you know which way you're putting your paper in. Make sure you know which way your paper's at. So we're going to be lining up at the top of the page. My first cut is going to be right about 2 3/4, which is where I'm putting the paper now. I've got a really dark line here, and there are grid lines that run down, so you kind of want to follow those. That's what I'm trying to do. Here we go, and you shut it. There you go. Be careful with your fingers. Your blade stays in the bottom or in the top, and if it tears the paper, you want a new blade. Creative Memories does sell replacement blades for this trimmer. I think I've replaced mine twice already. And like I said, I've only been scrapbooking about 3 years, but for whatever reason, this trimmer is the one I guess because when I use it, I really use it. And so then the blades dull a little bit and then I replace it. So I've replaced, I think, my 12-inch regular trimmer blade as well. I do that about once when I change out the mat. Essentially, you use all 4 sides of your mat. That's about 2,000 cuts. Time for a fresh blade too. So we have cut at 2 3/4. The line, like I said, I made a little dark thing there. You can kind of see it. There's a 2 and a 3 on the trimmer, where you can hopefully figure out where 2 3/4 is. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to flip my paper from bottom to top. So I've taken it like this, and now I've got this, sliding my paper over to 4 3/4. So the 4 is here, right kind of where you see how this little piece comes up a little bit more. And the 3/4 is essentially at the end of the holder, if you will. Lining my paper up at the top again. And here we go. Let's get this shut again. Be careful with your fingers, as always. And now you press down and you roll your blade through. And we have, voila, this really beautiful piece to put on our layout. How's about that? And then this we can use for something else. Maybe you'll see the scrap turn up at some point. I don't know. It reminds me of the border maker that we have right now that has the car that goes over the little hills. Maybe when I get mine in, I'll have to use that for that. We could have maybe up some purple hills, right? We'll combine it with something else. We'll see. So folding that back in, I wouldn't be Creative Pages with Catherine if I wasn't creative, right? And sometimes I get a little distracted, but hopefully it's worth it. Staying with me, watching what I'm doing, seeing what I've come up with for this sketch number 4, because we have on this, they kind of had, again, they had the straight and then they had a little thing, but I thought, I took the poll and people answered that they wanted to see the 12-inch decorative trimmer. So I thought, why not? It seems to fit this sketch. we don't know ahead of time what the sketches are going to be, so it just worked. I thought it worked. So hopefully y'all think, ooh, it works too. Okay, my tape runner just got away from me a little bit there. I didn't go to the side well here. There we go. Because when you use the tape runner, you do. You know, your little wheels towards the ceiling. I can't tell you how many times I tried to use it with this end up. It's always with the wheel up, and we have the little rectangles that come off of this one and the little dots that come off of the repositionable. I'll probably do a tape runner for my What is Scrapbooking series if I can ever get back to it, maybe on our next move, which of course is going to be next summer. What else is new in Catherine's life? We'll be moving. So I guess I don't know if I'll have as much content filmed this time as I did this past year, but hey, it's okay. Y'all hopefully will stick with me and I'll try to get the virtual crops done again. Border stickers. We have these in our, what is it, Full of Wonder? Oh my gosh. Full of Wonder. You know, how long have I been live streaming for? It's an hour. It's almost been an hour and a half now. Wow. I've been on for a while. I guess it's okay if I get a little punchy, right? Hopefully y'all will forgive me. But anyways, I just thought this looked really pretty to bring in a little more color, and it's going to add, because these have these little rounded, balls in here, I just thought it kind of highlights our waves that we just created with our decorative trimmer. So we're going to run these side by side here. About a half inch. Was this half, 3/4? I will measure for you because I am getting a little punchy and a little bit tired. And I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. It looks closer to the 3/4, but hang on. I always have my handy dandy zero centering ruler right here. So if we go from the top of the white to the top of the white of the blue balls, because that's the larger ball here, it was about 5/8. So 5/8 is between the half and the 3/4. So I was at the ballpark at least, Now, what else are we doing for this layout? We have our mats, and I'm sliding out of my chair. Oops, that was the trash can again. Sorry about that. All right, I found this. We had the Good Life, and so this was one of our 4x6 mats, and it had like something else on the other side, but it had this Brilliant as well. And so I went ahead and cut this in half. And so we're going to have this 4" by 3" Brilliant up here. This is our title for our page. We're going to place our blue mat up here on the left side, about a 1/2 inch from the edges, getting framed out a bit. We have our green here. That's going to go under here. We want to have a little bit of spacing as well, about a 1/2 inch. And then this one was one of our 4x6 mats as well. And I cut it, and actually, I think this was it. I think I took one mat, I cut it in half, and I used it in both places on the thing. I don't know which side went with which side. So when you get your mat pack, this is Brilliant and Place and Date. So Place and Date is going under our green, which means our green needs to go up just a hair bit more. Okay, so let's get this on the bottom first. This kind of looks, because I want this about a 1/2 inch in. Tape first. And we're going to center it-ish. Might be slightly off center, but we're going to get this down here. And so instead of having a traditional journal box, I just thought this Place and Date, the colors just, I tend to be a little bit color funny, so I work with the colors a lot. So it looks like we're going to be closer to a 1/4 inch instead of the half, and that's okay too, because these are the larger 4.5 by 6.5 mats. And okay, come on. We always used to say I had a piece of hair fall out into the tape runner, of course. And I crochet as well. And so, you know, it's one of those things where you're always like, well, if you ever get a handmade something that's crocheted or knit, it probably does have a little bit of hair in it because people's hair falls out. And sometimes we realize and sometimes we don't. That one I realized. But I guess some of our scrapbook pages maybe get pieces of hair in them too. I don't know. I never really thought about that until now. Go figure. But you feel like you're talking to yourself sometimes. That's the way it goes. Okay. All right. So the brilliant is going to go over our little banner piece here. So let me get some tape on both of these. And the banner piece is from another one of the 4.5 by 6.5 mats. So I have, let's see, two 4.5 by 6.5 mats, one 4.5 by 3.25, that's this one, and two 3x4s. So that's these two. So this was, like I said, I'm pretty sure this was from the same mat. This one is going this direction. And then the other's going to come in. Okay. So I think I'm going to line this one up with this. And just bring it in this way so you still see the full of this running through. And it really does accentuate our waves here. And then our brilliant is going to kind of come down over our little banner here. So it's holding our banner up. And you can see we've got about a 1/4 inch on either side as well. There we go. Let's get some more stickers down because I pulled out our butterflies and we have a green butterfly that's going to go at the bottom of our page here. And these are the little gemstone stickers again. So a lot of these collections have some similar pieces. Okay, this needs to go down here. Hang on. I want to get foam squares for my butterfly, which means I did this in the wrong order, but that's okay. Find my foam squares again here. And put these onto our butterfly. Okay. Don't you all just love this collection? I just think it's so beautiful. It really has these brilliant colors that are gorgeous. So this is going to go over here just a little bit. The purple can't go up there because of the purple there. So that's going to come down here. And this dark blue is going to go up here, kind of halfway in between. Butterfly number 2 is our darker blue butterfly. So the green is at the bottom. This is blue with a little bit of green. And haha, I feel like I outsmarted the butterflies a little bit. Get some more foam squares on this one. All right. Here we go. Oops, that one's off just a little. That one's stuck. They kind of do get stuck, especially with the stickers. Here's that. And, oh boy. Got the, okay. Pieces from the foam square stuck on me. This is going to come up this way and over our brilliant just a little bit, but then I also have a light blue and a dark green here. Let me double check this. Nope, we need to switch that because we have the green at the bottom of the butterfly. We need the little green gem there. And even though we have the blue mat right here, we're still going to put our blue little gem sticker there. And we finally have this really brilliant multicolor butterfly. And this one's also going to get foam squared. And I think when I first did this, well, I guess it's going to be okay because, again, these are the 4.5 by 6.5 mats. So our photos are usually 4 by 6. So you kind of have about a 1/2 inch of wiggle room. And so this is going to go just right here. And since this is on the foam squares, our photo will still be able to slip under there. And then I have a light blue and a purple gem looking sticker that are going to go here and here. All right. So, what do you all think? This is sketch number 4. Right? Is that what? Yes, we are on sketch number 4. It's been a while. I've been on for a little bit now. So, what do you think? There is the sketch, and we have our places for our photos. So, this one did lead itself to a smaller photo over here. And so, yes, you can put a photo in this journal box here. You're going to have your 2 larger photos there. And you know what? You really can even get your photo all the way up and under the brilliant as well if you want. So it'll be framed a little bit by your wording and your purple. Journal box is down here, but you know what? If you decide to do a vertical photo here as well and a horizontal one here, go for it. I've done that. I can't tell you how many times. So that is it for tonight. Did I hold it up to the camera? I don't know. I'm going to do it again just in case. Because like I said, getting a little bit punchy here. Hopefully y'all are doing all right and hanging in here with me. I sure appreciate it. And that is it for tonight. I should be on again tomorrow. Not exactly sure the time. Keep an eye on my community tab. A lot of it depends on how I get the next set designed, and that will determine when I'm able to come on. So it'll be again for a while because I'll do another 4 and then we'll do the last 4. I don't know if I'll make it tomorrow or if that'll wind up bumping into Monday, but stay tuned. My community tab will have that information. I will say, until next time,